What is up, beautiful people? Kirby Hasseman here to deliver you just a little bit more marketing joy. Each time on these Delivering Marketing Joy one-on-ones, or DMJ one-on-ones as I call them, I try to kind of go one-on-one with you to take on a specific topic that will help you grow your business, do better marketing, elevate that merch and that marketing. And today I want to talk about branding internally and how to use merch to build your culture. Here's something I know. Internal culture drives external results. If you have the right culture, if you have the right team, the right group of people that are excited and rallying around the same mission, good things will happen in your organization. One thing I know to be true is that most of us think about our customer first, and our customer is an incredibly important part of the equation. But here's what I would say to you. When it comes to your marketing and your messaging, your first customer is actually your employees. Because if you get the employee messaging right, if you get the hiring process right, if you get the overall culture, if you get that right, a lot of your purpose-driven initiatives become easier. And if you don't get it right, if the people on the other end of the phone are not right and they don't have the right attitude, nothing will go right the way you want it to in your organization. One of my favorite things I hear people say is that nothing kills a bad company like good marketing, right? Nothing kills a bad product like good marketing. So when you spend all that time and you create that marketing campaign and you spend the effort and the dollars to drive traffic to your website, to have people pick up the phone, and then the person on the other end of the phone is rude or mean, or they don't know what they're talking about, that's all money that has gone to waste. So the reality of it is internal culture drives external results. Why is that? Well, it's pretty simple. And I think in some ways it's kind of common sense, but I think we need to say it, is that when people feel connected, they deliver better experiences. If you want to deliver marketing joy like we want to, then, we need to all be rowing the boat in the same direction. We all need to be excited about the brand, because if we're not going to deliver that kind of joy. And I think this is especially important in today's world where we've got remote teams and hybrid teams, and some people are in the office and some people aren't. It's really easy, I think, to become disconnected, not only from your fellow coworkers, but from the mission. And utilizing branded merch to sort of tie those things together, obviously it has to be a part of a bigger theme. You can't just hand out pens and expect everybody to rally. But if you can create an entire mission and then build that around sort of some branded merch to tie everybody together, it can really be powerful. Now, if you want your team to represent your brand well externally, it all starts with helping them feel connected internally. So you might be asking, yeah, but how could branded merch have anything to do with building culture? And so I'm going to go over a couple of things. Number one, it creates a sense of team. I think that when people are wearing the same t-shirt, when they're kind of championing the same cause, it's easy for them to feel like they're a part of the same team. So giving employees a physical piece associates them with some sense of belonging. It also gives the ability to sort of reinforce your values. I think that merch that is tied to a mission or a purpose can really kind of remind you of what you're all excited about. One of the things that we do when we do our quarterly meetings is we talk about our core values. We talk about the mission and go, okay, is this still who we are? Is this what we are excited about? And one thing I could be doing better is to each quarter be handing out something that ties to those values, so that we can say, hey, no, this is what we are all about. And so by utilizing merch to reinforce those values, it can help build culture. Next up, you can utilize merch to recognize and reward people. Utilizing merch to celebrate those anniversaries and those birthdays and those milestones and sales goals, all those sort of things. Take something that is a great reward, but then gives them a physical reminder of that positive recognition. I think back in 2004, a million years ago, I was recognized as a sales leader for an organization, and they gave me a watch. And I can tell you where I was. I can tell you what I felt like the day that I got that recognition. And I wore that watch for probably 15 years. It was something that every time I sort of took the time to look at it, it took me back to that moment. And that's one of those things that can solidify the values. It can solidify that recognition. It can give it long-term lasting value that not every organization is doing. And that's one of the ways that you can use merch to build up that company culture. It can also create excitement in those moments that matter. You've probably heard me talking about, I think new employee kits are so incredibly valuable because that's a moment that matters. That person is just coming into your organization and they feel like everybody else knows what's going on and they don't. They're going to feel disconnected. So by putting together a cool merch kit that makes them feel like they're a part of the club, that can be a really powerful moment in your organization in building that culture. What about company-wide meetings when you're about to launch a new product launch, a new value-driven piece? Doing some sort of merch around that gives something, a physical, tangible thing for people to rally around, to put on their desk, to wear, something that reminds them that they're doing that thing. And then the other one is like wellness initiatives. We talk about our total wellness program, and I think done right, branded merch affects human behavior. So if you want people to sign up for your wellness initiative, then doing something that isn't just a cheap piece, cheap branded merch doesn't affect human behavior. And then people will like, oh, it doesn't work. No, if you curate really quality branded merch, people will want to be a part of the thing that you're doing. So if you want to have a wellness or culture initiative that moves people, do something that actually moves people. The other thing about a wellness initiative, it's also a great way to keep people engaged. So if you say, hey, when you sign up, you get this cool t-shirt, which will, of course, then signal to the rest of the people in your organization that they're taking part in the wellness initiative. But if you stick around for month 1, you get this. If you stick around after month 2, after month 3, and you can delay that gratification to sort of continue to build excitement around that initiative that you're doing. So the fact of the matter is, when you use branded merch well, when you curate branded merch that people actually care about, that you can affect human behavior and build your culture intentionally around it. So what are a few of the types of internal merch that I think works and we've seen work over years and years? Onboarding kits, I mentioned that, bringing people on board and making them feel like they're a part of the team. Employee appreciation gifts. This is one that I talk about because, we think about this when it comes to customers. And there's a study out there that says that 69% of customers that leave you because of perceived indifference, which I'm always like, that's a scary statistic, but it's also exciting because it's something you can fix. Well, the same thing is true in today's world when it comes to appreciation around employees. Showing your team that you care about them on a consistent basis when you're not asking for a favor can really make a difference in creating loyalty, creating sort of that culture that you want to inspire. Seasonal drops around the team or the things that are going on, whether that's the year-end holiday gift, which many of us do, and now's a great time of year to start thinking about that. But what about like a mid-year summer drop where you're like, hey, we've got to do a big push this summer to keep our sales rocking and rolling? That's really a cool kind of timing for doing some sort of appreciation around your team as well. Of course, there's sales contests and rewards. So if you are trying to drive your sales team to do more, doing some sort of merch drop at the beginning or the end can be really effective. Team uniforms and apparel. There is just something about getting people to wear the same things, get excited about the same things. And oh, by the way, it also creates credibility in the eyes of your customer. And then work from home gear for those work from home employees, those hybrid employees, so that when they are working from home, like I am today, they have all of the things that they need to be effective. And if you can do that around your branding and your branded merch, that can be super, super powerful, not only from a functionality perspective, if you're thoughtful about it, but building that internal brand so that people can build that brand for you. So here's a couple quick tips in doing internal branded merch right. Number one, involve your people in the process. Like, let them vote on designs or product choices. Now, I'm always a believer in you should probably narrow that in advance so that not every decision is being made by a giant committee, but maybe you get designs down to a final 3 and have the team vote. Which one do you like the best? And then go with the majority. The same thing is true for products. You don't want every single person making all the suggestions because it'll become overwhelming and you won't do anything. But if you get it down to say, hey, we're thinking of doing this or this, you guys choose, that makes them feel like they are listened to and they get to sort of choose the thing that they want. Number two, make it something they'll actually wear or actually use. Nothing kills that sort of momentum you get around branded merch by doing a cheap piece of crap. Do something that they will not only want to wear at work, but maybe they want to wear after work. Do something with some style, with some messaging, something that they're happy to wear to the restaurant with their family. And then finally, present it like a gift, not just like some handout that you're throwing away. Consider the packaging that it goes in. How is it wrapped? Make it feel like a gift and they'll receive it like a gift, right? And I think that's true of any kind of gift giving experience. And so it makes it the really cool item that we talked about. They've helped choose. You've made it so it's something they actually want to do. You take that final step and make it a little bit of extra special. And then that makes that thing all the better. So my challenge to you is to look at your team right now. Is your brand living up to inside of your organization? Is it living up to what you want to be showcasing on the outside of your organization? Because again, remember that internal culture will drive external results. So those are my thoughts on how you can utilize branded merch to build your internal team so that you can build your brand. I hope this has provided you some value. If so, please feel free to rate the podcast, subscribe wherever you are listening, and we will keep them coming. We'll see you next time.